Hello and welcome back for another Canada men's national team preview. I'm Tristan Folks, and today we'll preview what's to come for the national team who are coming off the Canadian Shield tournament win and coming off a successful June window as they go into the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. First off, I wanted to say the Canadian Shield tournament was very cool, honestly. I look forward to seeing this continue to happen in the future. And I'm very jealous that I ended up missing out on these matches, honestly. But my only thing I would like to see is we actually have legitimate semifinals that set up a final. Just like how the women's national team is played in matches hosted by the USA, where you have the semifinals and the final. I know it's friendlies at the end of the day, but I think everyone gets my point there. Other than that, the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup is currently underway right now, and it honestly has been very exciting, and I'm very thrilled for what's to come for the remainder of the tournament. Highlighting Canada's group for the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup, they will be in Group B with Honduras, El Salvador, and Curacao. For the schedule, they'll host Honduras on June 17th at BC Place in Vancouver, British Columbia at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Afterwards, they'll fly down to Houston, Texas, USA, like myself, with their second match on June 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central at Shell Energy Stadium against Curacao for the opening match before the derby match between Honduras and El Salvador. They'll conclude the group stage on June 24th in the same location against El Salvador as the final match of the group stage for the entire tournament, which is at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, before the knockout stage, and Guadalupe and Guatemala will be playing before then, which both of them had beef from the last running of this tournament, so we'll see what happens there. Notably, for the knockout stage, the quarterfinals will be on June 28th in Phoenix, Arizona, and June 29th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The semifinals will be on July 2nd in San Francisco, California, and St. Louis, Missouri, respectively. Lastly, the final will be on July 6th in Houston, Texas at NRG Stadium. Highlighting the roster for the men's national team, not too much has changed since they were literally just playing in the June window, but there has indeed been changes though. Goalkeeper Tom McGill ends up returning to the national team. Center back Kamal Miller receives his first call-up of the year, and Alistair Johnston returns from what was his wedding and honeymoon, so congratulations to Alistair Johnston. Players who are currently out injured include Sam Adekubi, who tore his Achilles in the last match against Cote d'Ivoire. Moise Bambito continues to recover from his wrist surgery. Alphonso Davies continues to make improvements on his ACL recovery. And Liam Miller is also finishing his recovery from his ACL tear. Players involved with the national team in the last window who were not brought in or kept around for the Gold Cup are due national Gabriel Bencherry, goalkeeper Luca Gavron, CPL player Adam Perlman, and goalkeeper Jonathan Sirois. Notably, Jonathan David will captain the national team, with my belief that Alistair Johnson is the vice captain, as Stefan Eustáquio is currently playing in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup with Porto, but is eligible to play matches pending Porto's fate. This time around, as much as this will be a starting 11 preview, I am also combining this into a depth chart, as I expect to see lots of rotation throughout the group stage. I also will not include substitutes this time around, as the depth chart will just explain itself, and this formation I'm going with, it will be a 4-4-2, and this will just keep things a little more simple. For goalkeeper, I'll have Dane St. Clair at the number 1 position at the moment, with Maxime Crepeau, who's a sweeper keeper, at number 2, so we may see Crepeau share the net. And Tom McGill is at number 3, and I would expect to see him make his debut. At left back, due to the injuries, Richard Larea currently as the number 1, which that seems where his national team career will see him now, with Zoran Prazong behind him, who had a solid match previously. At left center back, I have Derek Cornelius, and behind him is Joel Waterman at number 2, and Kamal Miller at number 3. At right center back, Luc de Figueroa is the number 1 option, with Jamie Knight-Labelle behind him. So this one is pretty much a battle between the youngsters. At right back, Alistair Johnston continues to hold down that position, with Nico Seeger finding this position his home for the national team currently. At left wing back, Jacob Schaffelberg continues to be the number one option with Jaden Nelson behind him currently. At left midfield, Stefan Eustachio is the one in charge, but we won't see him in the group stage guaranteed with Matthew Soignier currently at number 2, so we may see him start, and Jonathan Osorio is at number 3. At right midfield, Ismail Kone is the number one option currently alongside Eustachio, with Nathan Saliba behind him at number 2, but he also may be ahead of Soignier based on the previous matches. At the right wingback position, Tajan Buchanan continues to be absolutely red hot with Ali Ahmed behind him as the number 2. For the forwards, on the left, I have Jonathan David as the number 1 with Tani Oluwaseyi as the number 2 currently. On the right, Promise David has rise to the occasion immediately as the number 1 with Kyle Larin behind him as the number 2 and Daniel Jefferson as the number 3. Now we're going to get right into my predictions, and this will be for the group stage. So Group B, the first match in Vancouver will be a solid test, even though Honduras has not been at their best in my opinion right now, minus they're winning their matches. For my score prediction, I'm going to say that Canada ends up beating Honduras 3-0 right out of the gate. And then the second match, which is in Houston against Curacao, who has looked very solid lately, I'm going to go with the 3-1 win. And then lastly against El Salvador, I'm going to go with a 3-0 win to end the group stage. And for the rest of my predictions, check out my 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup predictions video, which I'll leave above somewhere, but then I'll also leave at the end of the video. Coming up this week, I am leaving for Houston, Texas, and I will be vlogging the matches I will be at coming up, so stay tuned for that. I'll also be exploring Houston in between the 2 matches, so I'll be sharing my adventures with you too. And then I'll return home for a few days before I expect to head out to Minneapolis. But it could be Phoenix based on the quarterfinals, but we'll just play it by ear because that's really all you can do. I don't agree with CONCACAF making the match locations not 100% known, but I've made my guesses honestly. So other than that, I just wanted to say thanks for supporting the channel, as it has really been an incredible month so far. And I look forward to being back out at the matches, and I hope you enjoy this video and enjoy the Gold Cup content and adventures coming up. Take care, y'all.